Hey, everybody. Today we're talking about an avatar and how to find the perfect one for you. It's a really important topic to know. It's in fact the first thing you need to define before you move anywhere further in your marketing strategy. So stick around.
You're listening to Marketing Tips with Meliss podcast.
Welcome to Marketing Tips with Meliss podcast. And now your host, Meliss Jakubovic.
Okay, so today we are talking about your perfect avatar. And you might also know this term as your dream client or your target market. There's a lot of different names that go on for this type of thing. But basically, this is a character, a person that you can imagine that you will bring into reality by understanding who they are, what they struggle with, what type of person they are, how they behave, what type of things they like to do. And this defines the type of person that you are aiming all of your marketing at. So what I mean by that is, for me, all of my marketing is aimed at women, health and life coaches, and healers. Everything I do, everything I say, all of the content I put out, it is directed at those types of people, not at chiropractors and not at dentists and not at construction workers. The people that are digesting my content, they are following me on social media, they are responding to my emails, or even the people who are on my email list are people who fit this description. So these are the people that I'm targeting online. Now, if you can't define your dream customer, then whatever you're saying on social media is not very clear and it is not directed at anybody. So it doesn't really pull on anybody's emotion. It doesn't really pull out any stress or frustration that reveals the problem that your target market has, and therefore you can't come in as the solution. So it's a really critical step in your marketing to define who your avatar is. And a lot of times what you do is you come up with this character and you give it a name and a personality, and you talk about how this person would go about their day and what keeps them up at night and what fears do they have and what are they struggling with. And we will go through some of those in a minute. But make sure that you have a dream avatar, an ideal target market, so that you know who you are targeting when you position yourself as the expert with your content. All right. So when it comes to picking the perfect one for you, and a lot of people have this problem, they say that I can help anyone. I've been on a discovery call recently. This happened maybe a couple weeks ago. And I said, okay, who's your target market? And the answer was anybody with skin. I can literally help anyone. Obviously, they sold skin products, but yeah, maybe the skin products help everyone, but that doesn't mean that's who your dream client is. Who do you want to help most? If you're a health coach, sure, everyone should be healthy. Sure, everyone eats food. Sure, everyone should work out, but that doesn't mean that is your target market. Maybe you want to work specifically with people who suffer from diabetes. Maybe you want to be a health coach for children. Maybe you want to help people who have recently gotten divorced. Maybe you want to help people that have eating disorders. So you get to decide who that target market is. So to pick the perfect one, it's really simple. All you have to do is just pick who you like to work with. Or more specifically, pick who you like to work with the most. So if you've been in business a while, this will be easier because you can pick out past clients that you loved working with. Who were those past clients that you loved and what did you love most about them? Or maybe there were people that you get along with, people that you really love to be surrounded by. Or maybe it's people that you are really passionate about helping, and then I want you to understand from an internal perspective, why do you feel passionate about helping that type of person? Do you prefer to help people who suffer from diabetes because you yourself have diabetes, or maybe your father had diabetes? What is that connection? Why do you feel passionate about helping that person? Or maybe it's just the people you like to be around. For example, I love being around spiritual and energy healers, and that's why that's part of my target market, because I feel at home and I feel really comfortable around these types of people. So that's how you pick the perfect one. You just pick someone that you can see yourself working with. Now, if you're newer to business, you might not have all that data and life experience to go off of. For example, you don't know who your favorite client was because you don't have any clients yet. So that's when you think about, okay, who are the people that I really want to be friends with? Who are the people that I could hop on a phone conversation with and it will never get old? And what do these people have in common? These are the types of people that you want to target. Now, it's really important to note that this changes over time. So my target market at first, when I started running Facebook ads, was any entrepreneur. Wow, how broad is that? Any entrepreneur. Then I narrowed it down to anybody who has something to sell or offer. Still very big. That's not even very narrow at all. In fact, that's so broad that includes service-based businesses and product-based businesses. And the way you do marketing for each of those is very different. Then I said, I want to do health and wellness because I love health and wellness and I was a health and life coach myself. So before that, I was running advertising for bakeries. I was running advertising for restaurants. I was running advertising for real estate. I was running advertising for e-commerce. And then I narrowed it down to health and fitness or health and wellness. And health and wellness is actually very broad, but that was my target market at first. And that included orthodontists, and that included functional medicine doctors, and that included chiropractors, and that included acupuncturists, and that included life coaches. And it was huge. It was such a broad audience. So then I narrowed it down again. And now I serve health and life coaches and healers. That's pretty narrow. But I will say, coaches, life coaches, is very broad in itself. And so I could even make that more narrow, but I actually serve all life coaches. So that's relationship coaches and mindset coaches and empowerment coaches, all of them. Everything but business coaches. And in fact, I do have some business coach clients as well, but that's not who my avatar is.
Do you get so discouraged without the support that you need when it comes to attracting clients and filling your programs? My new program is going to solve that without breaking the bank. For a limited time, you can join my Acceleration Club and gain instant access to my best 3 selling courses: How to Build a Killer Content Calendar, List Building Brilliance, and the Funnel Formula. Plus, you get bi-weekly support from me for the rest of the year with our acceleration calls. Visit accelerationclub.com right now.
So 2 things on this. Number 1, your avatar can change over time. And that's why you want to define who your perfect target market is every quarter in your business. So every 3 months, we go back and do this in the agency and we revisit who is our target market. It's really important to know that because it really does change over time and you can get more and more specific as time goes, and then your marketing becomes much more clearer. The second thing I want to tell you about this is that you define who your target market is, and that is all the content that you're going to be putting out is directed at that person. But that doesn't mean that other people can't slip through the cracks and actually benefit from your services. So like I told you earlier, I don't target business coaches. I target life coaches and health coaches and healers. Occasionally, a business coach falls through the cracks, and for whatever reason, it feels like a good fit, and I do help them. So I have the skill set to help them, but that doesn't mean that the content I'm putting out is meant to attract them. So that's a big distinction because, for example, some people say, well, I can't just say if I'm going to target only men or only women. I want to help everyone. Sure, first of all, you don't have to. A lot of this has to do with characteristics. It doesn't have to do with gender. For me, I target women because I run my programs and they're all women. However, if there is a energy healer, let's say, or a spiritual coach who's a man who has a feminine side or is in touch with the feminine side of life and has this spiritual connection and this deep level of understanding, as most of my women that I work with do, then it still might be a good fit. My marketing is not going to go out there and go, hey, men and women. It's usually going to say, hey, ladies, or to all the women out there. But if a man falls through the cracks and it feels like a good fit for both of us, then I know I have the skill set to help him and I will. So you define your target market and then you have to find out where they're hanging out and put your content out there in a way that they will understand. But that doesn't mean you can't help people who aren't 100% a fit. You have to take it case by case. So the next step after defining who that target market is that you're going to map out where they are in their lives. What are they going through? Where are they on their journey? What characteristics do they all share? What is the same between all of these people? And so first what I want you to do is come up with a description. And this will be the person that you are naming, that imaginary person. You give them a name. So my female name is Jessica and my male name is Greg. So, okay, what does Jessica look like? What does she love to do? How does she behave? So you come up with that general description, the gender, the age, their income range. Do they have kids? What education level did they have? What's their relationship status? Figure out who they follow online. Who do they trust for their information? Are these pages that they follow on Facebook? Are these groups where they get their information from? Maybe they check their news. What news outlet? BBC, CNN, Fox, NPR, or are they not doing news? Maybe they're watching late night TV shows like Trevor Noah. So where do they get their information from? What type of books do they like to read? And what are they struggling with? What is their biggest struggle? What is their biggest fear? What are they dealing with right now? What do they really, really want or need but don't have right now? Because this is going to clue you in onto how you can come in and help as a solution and serve them best. What is their core problem? What is their issue that they're really having? Something that they would pick up the phone and tell their mom on the phone or their best friends. What is that issue? And what does it mean for them if that were to come true? If they were to fix that problem and their biggest dream would come true, what does that look like for them? And then I want you to think about their hesitations and their objections to purchasing your offer, your service, your package. What would that look like? What are their biggest objections? And then I want you to understand that all of the content that you create has to make sense to this avatar. So come up with a few things that you could teach on that will solve these problems. And all the content that you create from now on has to fit into these buckets. You can, of course, do it in different angles and different mediums, a PDF and a video and long form posts. But all the content that you have has to speak to this person and figure out, how do they want to be spoken to? Is it in video? Do they want to see you go live on Facebook? Or is it in an audio? Do they want to hear your podcast? Or do they have time to read? Should you be writing a blog? And I want you to think about their journey. Where are they on their journey? For example, if you're a health coach, is the person you're targeting brand new, overweight, never worked out before? Or are they somebody who has worked out, but they just have those last 5 pounds to lose? Or they've worked out a certain way, but they're just not happy with the way they look and they want to get really lean and fit, and you're going to take them to that next level. Because these types of people are two totally different spaces, right? They're in two different spaces on their customer journey. You've got someone who's a beginner and someone who's a little more advanced. And the way you speak to them is going to be very different. So your marketing has to be positioned in a way that speaks to that person. So think about that customer journey. And while you're thinking of the customer journey, I want you to think about how you will overcome the objections that you spoke about earlier when we were coming up with their hesitations. And this is how you're going to pick the perfect avatar. So I hope this helps, and I'll see you next time.
Do you struggle with posting content on social media? Is it difficult to show up consistently? Or maybe you're overwhelmed by what to post where? That's why I created my complete content strategy toolkit, a comprehensive digital toolkit to efficiently and consistently create meaningful content that converts. My toolkit is packed with over $3,000 worth of tools, and the best part, I'm offering it all for the price of one dinner. Go check it out now at abundantstrategy.com.
Thanks for listening to the Marketing Tips with Meliss podcast at www.marketingtipswithmeliss.com.
Hey coaches and healers, it's time to feel supported in your business. Head on over to our free community to get access to my best resources for free. I'm talking marketing tips, business strategy, feedback, and so much more. Join now at magneticmarketingmastermind.com. See you there.